Hi, I'm Ellie DeVries, and welcome to Bellarmine Sports Broadcasting. This is our last show of the year and semester, and our first story today is on one of our very own women's basketball players. Hunter Spencer has that story.
Raven Merriweather recently became the 28th member of Bellarmine Basketball's 1,000 Point Club. We caught up with Raven to see how she felt about this amazing accomplishment.
Actually, I didn't know. My mom kind of keeps up with that stuff, so like before the season, she kind of like reminded me. And my coaches knew, and they were like, hey, you know, you're pretty close, but they never told me like the actual number. When I got 1,000 points, I was actually surprised and excited at the same time.
With scoring being an obvious attribute, we asked Raven where she felt like she has improved the most over the course of her career at Bellarmine.
Maybe not from like my game aspect, but I think leadership has been something that I think I've improved on because it's only me and Beth as seniors, so I've kind of had to step up so I can help the younger ones.
Throughout Raven's basketball career, she gives praise to one person for their unwavering support on and off the court.
My mom, she's like my best friend. She pushes me to be better than her, so that means she is way harder on me now, and that has transferred to not just to life, but to my basketball game as well. She just makes me feel like not to be scared of anyone. As soon as we get out here, I look for her, and she's not there, I'm upset. So.
Since we know a lot about what Raven's like on the court, we decided to catch up with her roommate, Beth Bowers, who also happens to be a senior, to find out more about what she's like off the court.
Raven is like very family oriented, and she likes to do stuff like with her church and with her family off the court, so I think that's like the biggest thing that she does. She's crazy, you know, she likes to be in control in the room, so I just kind of let her do that. I think that's why we work well together, because she likes to tell me what to do and I just listen. I always say that she has the only child syndrome, so she expects everything to go her way, which is hilarious, but it kind of works for me because we just laugh a lot. Just funny.
What's your favorite thing?
Probably just like her friendship. She's really loyal, and I know she'll always tell me the truth about anything, which is awesome. Like, you don't have a lot of friends like that, so definitely that.
With their senior season well on the way, we asked Raven what her goals for the team are for the remainder of the season.
To win the conference and to go past first round. I want to go win the whole thing, but definitely go past first round. The last 2 years, we've only been to the first round, and it's annoying, so I'm trying to get past that.
In the meantime, Raven and the rest of the Knights will continue to be scoring points and having some fun while doing it.
Hunter, thanks for joining us on our show today.
Thank you.
So obviously, Raven is a very talented basketball player, and you've seen her on and off the court, had interviews with different people about her. What kind of character would you say, like what is her character like? Would you say she's like pretty humble, or all the fame's kind of gone to her head?
She's definitely very humble. I actually know Raven personally, and based on that, honestly, I wouldn't know if she's the best player on the team or the worst player on the team.
That's awesome. So in the piece, she did say that she wasn't really quite sure what kind of leader she was, if she was like considered more of a vocal leader or leading by example. Like, from your interactions with her, what would you say she is?
It's actually really cool. I get to sit at the scores table at most games that they have this year, and based on that, I would say she's definitely a vocal leader. I don't know why she thinks she's not, but on the court, she's always helping her team get through tough times or calling them in to run plays or so on. So.
What would you say that her biggest strengths as a basketball player are?
She's definitely probably usually the strongest player on the court. She's really good at driving and shooting in traffic, so I think that's why she sees a lot of success with the team and stuff. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Hello and welcome, and I'm Evan Kalish. Today we're going to take a closer insight at the Bellarmine women's soccer team. Johnny Daniels has the story.
The Bellarmine women's soccer team had a season for the books with a record of 8-4-7, reaching the second round of the NCAA tournament for the second time in 3 years under head coach Chris Tinius. I had a chance to sit down with Audrey Vander Elst and Pauline Marino, two key players for the Bellarmine Knights, as well as one Bellarmine Knight who plays a much bigger role in the team. Hannah Causey's soccer career as a player ended early due to injury, but that doesn't stop her from being a key part of the team.
So Hannah, how much different was it this year being the team manager? It definitely wasn't easy. Although I was always out anyways when I was on the team because of injuries, it's a lot different because I'm not at everything anymore. But besides that, I'm always at what I can be, and I cheer on the girls. Like, I love all the girls. I'm so close with them and all the new players.
You're still a very important part of the team, and you think the world of all your teammates. What was your favorite memory of them this season playing?
This season, it was definitely when they beat Grand Valley. I didn't have to film that game, so I was super happy about that. We've always been an underdog compared to them. A lot of teams have. They've won the past 4 out of 5 years the championship, and so it was a big deal for us to win that game. And I was definitely happy and super stoked to be on the sidelines with them.
You're the leading scorer this year on the team and probably the best offensive player, and had your best season yet as a Bellarmine Knight. What were some key factors for this season?
We changed our formation, which helped a lot. Before, we had 2 people up top, so it was really hard for the players to work together. And we changed it to 2 players out wide, and I think we got a lot more attack from it.
All right, very good. So you got a lot of scoring opportunities from that?
Well, we had a hard time finishing, which was our problem, and we had a lot of low-scoring games, but we worked really hard up top, so when we did get chances, we finished them.
Very good. So you guys have a spring season coming up. What are your thoughts going into it?
I definitely think we need to work more on the attack. Our defense did great this year, so a lot of our problems just are scoring. So I think maybe if we start doing more shooting patterns and other things.
You guys were top 10 in the nation last year for goals against, which is pretty good. What made this defensive unit so special?
I think early on in the season we had a lot of trouble scoring, so we made it our identity to be a really good defensive team. So we really worked on just communication and just trust, and then just playing really simply and not too hectic.
So who was the defensive leader on your team this year?
I think our goalkeeper, Taylor Smith, she was an All-American, and she would just make huge saves that really helped us keep it out of the back of the net.
So do you guys think you guys are going to go a lot further this upcoming spring in your season?
Yeah, I think we're going to work a lot on our offense so it can match our defense a little bit, and we're going to have to replace Taylor because she's a senior, so we just have a lot of work.
The Knights start their spring season in February and look to carry over their success from the fall and build on it in the spring. I'm John Daniels with Bellarmine Sports. Thanks for watching.
So John, tell us, how do you think the overall season went for them this year?
I think this was a good season for their team this year. They had a lot of freshmen on the field for them making big plays. They had strong goalkeeping and a strong defense. They struggled putting the ball in the back of the net, but they made it 2 rounds deep into the NCAA tournament for the second time in 3 years, and they're looking to build off this fall and their spring season come February. So I think that they'll be ready come February to be another force to be reckoned with in the GLVC.
Right. Knowing these girls off campus and off the field, how do they act? You know some of them, so tell us a little bit about them.
Usually when I see them in the library, they're pretty studious, they're humble, and they're also hardworking, just like they are on the field.
Right.
They're great to have around campus. They're always friendly to everyone. They're friendly to the faculty and staff here at Bellarmine, and definitely bring a great vibe to the campus.
So predictions next year, what do you think they're going to do?
They changed up their offensive formation, looking to create some more shots for them this year. They're losing their All-American goalie, which is tough, but they still have the same defense, which is one of the best in their conference. So they're looking to make it into the tournament again and probably further in the second round this season.
Right. Well, thank you very much for your story, Johnny.
Thank you for having me, Evan.
Yep.
I'm Jeff Milby. 2 Bellarmine athletes find themselves as college sweethearts, but their relationship didn't start in the most typical way. Molly Jett has that story.
College dating took a turn with junior Adam Eberhardt and sophomore Alex Scott because they juggle more than just their academics. They also juggle separate sports. Basketball player Adam and swimmer Alex have been dating for a year now. They met on campus at a social event, and soon after,
he actually messaged me on Instagram and asked if I wanted to go on a date.
Adam's excuse for messaging her on Instagram was,
okay, well, I did, but I hadn't met her before. I had met her before
you know, I had introduced myself and we had met and all that stuff, but I hadn't, you know, I just didn't see her on campus or anything like that.
After a match made in heaven on Instagram, Adam is on the court and Alex is cheering him on in Knights Nation. Together they are the power couple of Bellarmine University. But no one would ever guess where they ate on their first date. Adam's best friend and roommate said,
well, I don't really know. He took her to McDonald's, and I have no idea why, because ever since then, like, he comes to me and asks around, like, hey, you know, what's a good restaurant? Where do we need to go eat? So that's a big development for him, you know, going from taking her out to McDonald's. I have no idea what they got. Probably dollar menu. You know, knowing him, he's cheap. And he showed that right away on the first date. But he's improved. He took her to a nice Italian place last weekend, so it's all good.
Even though Skylar threw him under the bus, Adam laughs at what happened.
So our first date was kind of funny. You know, I picked her up. We were going to go get ice cream, but you know, I didn't really think it through. Everywhere else was closed. It was pretty late. It was like 10 or 11 at night. So, you know, the only place that was open was McDonald's, so we just went and got, well, ice cream cones. Just glad that the machine was still working.
Bellarmine University really brought the two together. Alex is from Reno, Nevada, and Adam is from Evansville, Indiana.
I said, Alex, you know, you haven't been to Louisville. Do you want to come and visit first and actually see the campus and get to know some people? And she said, no, I made my decision. Bellarmine looks like a great place to come.
Adam got to visit Nevada for the first time this past summer.
Yeah, it was awesome. You know, it was a good experience for me. I haven't been, you know, west of like St. Louis or Kansas City, you know, for games, but to be able to go out there and, you know, visit her family and, you know, see, you know, where she grew up and where she's from was awesome.
Alex spends about 15 hours in the pool every week, not including what she does outside of the pool. And Adam spends about the same amount of time playing basketball, but they still find the time to support one another.
It actually works out really well because all of his games aren't when I'm swimming. So I have practice every morning, and then his games are usually at night during the week or in the afternoons on Saturday. So I always have time to come out and watch him, especially when they're at Knights Hall, because that's just really easy to get to. If they're away, sometimes I can make them, but it's a little harder.
Adam said it's great because we're both doing something we love.
I'm able to go support her, and she's able to come support me. So it's kind of a give and take thing. It's also great to see, you know, another sport. Like, I'm doing basketball 24/7, so I'm able to go, you know, to a swim meet or something else and support, you know, not only her, but I'm supporting the school too.
Finding time to hang out is their biggest struggle dating one another.
So seeing Alex, like, having to figure out his schedule and hers and, like, make them compatible so they do have time to hang out.
But being on the same campus makes this easier. They both live in the same residence hall, and next semester they will have a class together.
We also just signed up for the Alumni Mentor Program together, so I'm really excited to do that with him because then we don't have to go by ourselves and we'll have someone there that we know. And just like little things around campus, like going out to lunch, stuff like that's always fun.
Both teams recognize the effort they put into their sport and their relationship.
I know all her time's not devoted to Adam because she might be my most avid follower on Twitter in the world. She retweets or likes everything I put out, so I know that her time is split between Bellarmine basketball and Adam.
And it never goes unnoticed.
She comes to all the games and she's front row, and she loves yelling. She yells at me and all you know, all the players because she knows us all. And she likes yelling at the other team and the refs. It's just, you know, I can hear loud and clear. Like, she doesn't think I can, nobody else thinks I can, but I can. I can hear her, and it's just great that she gets into the games and all that stuff. And I'm yelling just as loud for her at her swim meets. I know she's underwater, she can't hear me, but you know, it's awesome. She's so funny, and you know, to be able to, for her to just to see her up there having a good time and cheering for me is awesome.
Hopefully you get a chance to support them throughout the rest of their seasons. Their schedules are on athletics.bellarmine.edu. I'm Molly Jett from Bellarmine Sports Broadcasting.
So Molly, Adam took her to McDonald's on the first date for ice cream and asked her out on Instagram. Did you get the sense that they have a successful relationship despite that maybe rocky start or unusual start?
Yes, they've been dating for a year now, and they've been very well at being able to hang out together with their separate sports, and I think they're doing well, even though it started off that way. It's funny, and it happened that way just because they met outside of school, and then he didn't have a way to contact her, and he never saw her on campus, so he was like, well, how do I get in contact with her? And it was social media.
So obviously athletes, you know, very busy between their sport and school. How do they find time to support each other, going to each other's events and that sort of thing?
Well, Alex told me that her swim meets are very different from his basketball games. So most of his basketball games are at Knights Hall and they're during the weekdays, and then her swim meets are usually away off campus. So it actually works out really well because she can go to the basketball games, and when he's not traveling, he can come to her swim meets. So it plays off pretty well.
So tell us about what kind of players they are on the team. Are they big contributors, or do the teammates like them? Are they? What are they like in the team dynamic from what you can tell?
Yes, Adam is a very strong player. He's a junior, and he just loves to play, and he's one of the starters every time. He's one of the taller ones as well. And then Alex is the same. She's one of the people as a breaststroke, and her teammates love her as much. She actually came here from Nevada, and she didn't know she was going to come before, and then she looked at the campus, and she realized she really enjoyed it.
It was a great story, Molly.
Thanks.
Hello, I'm Taylor Garrison, and earlier we saw a piece about Raven Merriweather. If you can't get enough of her, we have another story, but from a different perspective. Sarah Lord has that story.
Raven Merriweather is one of 2 seniors on the Bellarmine women's basketball team this season. But basketball wasn't the sport she started out in.
Well, my mom owns a gym here. Well, she doesn't own a gym, but she works from our church's gym, so I've always grown up in a gym. First, I was a cheerleader, actually, but I was like, this is too girly, so then I went from cheerleading to basketball. I would just change my outfit and then go play basketball, and ever since then, I've been playing.
Raven on the court, is everything a coach wants. She's competitive. She can shoot the ball. She can rebound the ball. She can play great defense. So, as far as, she makes a good pass. She's everything a coach wants on the floor.
Merriweather is a workhorse for the team, who, out of the 8 games they've played this season, has averaged 30 minutes and 20 points per game. Raven became the 28th member of the 1,000-point club here at Bellarmine in their game against Grand Valley State.
I think that this team is more of a family, more of a sisterhood. So, and it just feels good having my team slap me up or say, hey, good job.
Raven works so hard that everybody just naturally follows her. We were getting beat the other day, still we were down 18 with a minute to go, and she's still diving on the floor. That's a leader.
She's always getting into you. Like, if you're off your game, she's going to pick you up, but if you're on your game, she's still going to pick you up and help you keep going.
If I have questions, if anyone has questions, we all go to Raven. Like, she's going to be honest, she's going to tell us what's up, and she's going to lead us in the right direction.
To bring her and the team good luck, Merriweather has a very special tradition before each game.
My grandma passed away last year, and so I have a picture of her in my locker, and I always just kiss that picture before I go play. It's my girl. So.
Raven, who was just recognized as the Greater Lakes Valley Conference Player of the Week for scoring a season high of 27 points during the night's game against Kentucky State, has high hopes for the rest of the season.
Win a conference and get past first round of the NCAAs, because the past 2 years, that's all we've done is win to the first round and lose. So I want to take the team, well, me and Beth, we want to take the team past the first round for sure.
Raven is a communications sports administration double major, but after graduation, thinks she may take a path that leads her outside the U.S.
I think I might want to play overseas. My dad really wants me to play overseas. It's between that or coming back to school. I just try to be better than I was last year. I wanted to leave with a bang, so.
For Bellarmine Sports Broadcasting, I'm Sarah Lord. Thanks for watching.
So Sarah, you mentioned that Raven recently joined the 1,000-point club. Did she tell you how she felt?
Yeah, she said that she was very excited and grateful that it happened. It wasn't something she was sure she was going to get, but that she did. It's something that her family is very grateful and excited for because she is only the 20th member in the women's basketball program.
Beth Bowers, who we also saw in the piece, is also a graduating senior, and her and Raven are very close. Like, what do they have in common besides basketball?
Well, her and Raven met freshman year when they roomed together in the dorms, and they roomed again the following year as sophomores. But then Beth moved off campus junior year, but their bond strengthened, and so their senior year now they are currently living together again, and they bonded over their love of shopping and food, and of course basketball.
You also mentioned in the piece that Raven might continue her basketball career by playing overseas. What does Raven love most about basketball?
One of the things Raven loves most about basketball is that she, no matter what you do, whether you win or lose, you always learn something. She couldn't just pinpoint one thing because she loves everything.
Gotcha. Great piece. Thanks, Sarah. We really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Gabe Smith. Recently, Bellarmine sports reporter R.J. Perkins had a chance to sit down with Kevon Green and talk about his wrestling career here at Bellarmine and the fact that he's an art major. Here's R.J.
Many people know Kevon as a senior wrestler here at Bellarmine University. However, few people know him as a talented and creative artist in his own right.
Why did I decide doing art? It all started with like friendly family competition. Me and my cousin trying to figure out who was the better artist. And it's pretty much been going on since there.
With Kevon's artistic gifts and talents, the sky's the limit on how far he wants to take this in the near future.
Right now I'm thinking I'm gonna take a year off of grad school and then I'm gonna see how far or see what my potential is as an artist before I go to grad school and figure out what kind of career I want to do besides just art. So yeah, I don't know how far it's gonna take me, but if it takes me far, I'm gonna ride the wave.
I think that Kevon can go really far with his artistic abilities just because he's always thinking of new pieces of art to work on, and he's always got new ideas. He's got a really creative mind, and not only does he work on different types of artwork from wood burning to paintings to drawings, he has a lot of ideas for the pieces that he wants to do. So I feel like his art can be appreciated by most people, if not everybody, because he makes something for everybody.
I think he's actually got a lot of talent. I think if he finds like the right curator, he can go really far or puts himself out there more. And with that, it's just, even if he doesn't change his style, I think he should stay true to himself, but getting more into art scenes and going to things that involve more artists and even showing it like St. Stephen's and things like that. Like just putting his artwork out there in different places, I think he'll go far.
As he has progressed and developed his artistic ability, he has expanded his skills in various areas, which has helped him in his artistic capabilities.
I think it's clear because he's always changing and evolving. Like when I first met him, he did classic cars because his dad likes classic cars, and now he's doing more wood cuts and burning in wood and painting over it. He's always evolving and changing, which says a lot about a young artist, because I think it's important not to just stick with one thing, but to push your boundaries and try different things. And he's always been down to do that, so that reflects in all his works.
Although Kevon here is a wrestler at Bellarmine University, don't forget he's also a talented artist whose creativity can take him to great heights. If you want to learn more, follow his Instagram at whodont_loveart. This is R.J. Perkins, Bellarmine Sports.
I'm now joined here on the Bellarmine Sports Show by the man you just heard on that piece, R.J. Perkins. R.J., thanks for joining me.
No problem.
Now, when you were talking to Kevon, did you get a sense that it's kind of tough for him being a wrestling athlete, you know, someone who has to go to practice all the time, and an art major, which is a major that has a lot of outside time commitments?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, as you know, he's a Bellarmine wrestler, but also art is a passion of his. So he also has to make a time for practice and for his artwork that he has to do. So creating that balance for him, I saw that was pretty tough, but he's been able to do it, so it was pretty.
Now, does he sell any of this artwork?
Actually, he does. Actually, in January of next year, he has a showing in at the Mercury Ballroom. So he'll actually be selling some of his artwork over there. So if anybody wants to check that out, then go ahead.
And when you were with him, you saw a lot of his art pieces. Can you tell me which one do you think was your favorite?
I would say probably the Muhammad Ali piece. I think that was probably one of my favorites because, the different colors and, how he did all that, how that came together. I thought that was pretty good.
All right, RJ, nice story. Thanks for joining me.
How's it going? I'm Gaines Miller with Bellarmine Sports Broadcasting, and today we're going to be looking at a story about a former basketball player, Jake, who has come back to coach this season, and Brad Washley has that story.
New assistant coach Jake Thielen has been right at home, working hard getting the men's basketball team off to the hot start this season. Finding himself back at the very same university that he graduated just a short 2.5 years ago.
It's been great so far being back at Bellarmine. I'm very thankful for Coach Davenport giving me this opportunity to coach these amazing guys we have here. We're 7-0 in the season right now. We're doing really well. We got to keep building on our wins, keep learning from each other. And it's always cool coming back to a place where you played and you had some success as a team. And I'm very thankful.
Is it funny now being on the coaching side where you actually get to yell at them?
Yes, it's very different, especially playing with 3 of the guys. It's very different, but I try not to yell very much. I try to be a player's coach and kind of talk them through things. So that's worked out really well for me so far.
Coach Thielen has definitely found himself right at home, as the Knights have started off the season 7-0, also collecting a top 5 ranking in the NCAA up to this point. Though it's only his first year at Bellarmine as an assistant coach, Coach Thielen couldn't be any more excited. We caught up with Coach Davenport to give us a little bit more of an insight.
Jake's first official day at work at Bellarmine, he came in and we all met around 8:15 in the morning, and I caught him that evening around 9:30. So it was a good 13-hour day, and I said, "Jake, are you okay?" And he said, "Coach, what do you mean?" I said, "You have not stopped smiling for 13 hours. And he said, "Coach, this is unbelievable. It's like a quick dream come true." And it's a win-win. He's going to get his master's degree from Bellarmine, continuing what he started at IU. And then in terms of his role in this staff is we all do everything. We all prepare, we all scout, we all teach, we all monitor academics. Everybody does everything in this program. And it's all hands on deck. And the very simple theory is if it needs to be done, you do it. And we all do it here working together, and that's what makes it so worthwhile.
We asked senior Rhett Troutman, who played with Coach Thielen, to tell us a little bit more.
Having Jake as a teammate was interesting, to say the least. He was a senior, so he was a captain on the team. And he was a good role model. He was a fierce competitor, and that's what he brings to the coaching staff, I think. Younger perspective. He still brings the same energy in the huddles, with scouting, with everything that we do. He brings that same energy, and I think it is a little weird because I know him on a personal level. But I still respect him as a coach and as a player.
We can see Coach Thielen's fingerprints definitely on this hot start. We wish the Knights the best of luck the rest of the season and to Coach Thielen as he progresses through his first season as assistant coach at Bellarmine. This has been Brad Washley for Bellarmine Sports Broadcasting, signing off.
All right, so do you see it as a hardship or more of an advantage that he's so fresh off the Bellarmine court?
I definitely could see it as an advantage, he only graduated about, I believe, 3 years ago in 2015, and he was an All-American, so he knows the system pretty well, and so he has experience with it, and he's really been able to kind of tutelage, especially the freshmen, helping them get along further into the system.
Yeah, so I'm sure the transition from teammate to now coach with his former teammates on the team has been a little difficult, so could you elaborate on that?
Yeah, I talked to, he played with three players now. They were freshmen when he was graduating here, Brent Bach, Jared Coles, and Red Troutman. I talked to each one of them, and they do think it's a little weird sometimes because, unlike all the other guys, they have actually personal relationships with them since they play together. And they said at times it can be a little weird because, a short couple years ago, they were playing together, they were brothers on the court, and now you got to respect him as a coach and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, they respect him as a coach like they would any other, but they still have that close bond outside of it.
So what has been Jake's or the team's in general's biggest hardship this season?
As far as, I don't think there's been any hardship. It's just because before Jake got here, he was a head coach for St. X's JV, and he actually was a graduate assistant at IU last year before he came over here. So as far as the coaching, I don't think there's been any hardship. It's just the normal ups and downs of the season, like when plays don't fall through or certain things don't go the way you want to. I'm sure that's probably the hardships, but I think I can only see it going up from here, but I don't see that many hardships so far.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Appreciate it.
Well, that's going to wrap up the final Bellarmine Sports Show of the semester. For all of us here at Knights Media Network, I'm Gabe Smith. Make sure to check us out next year. Have a great holiday.